I want to address today a question I've been getting a lot lately, which deals with day game, gaming out of state, being on all the time as opposed to having to have momentum, that sort of thing.
I think the things that people find hardest about day game are, number one, they feel like they're interrupting someone's life. I think that's a big thing people have. When someone's out at a club, they feel like, oh, okay, well, they came out and so they're here to be hit on, they're here to be talked to, so I'm not really doing anything socially wrong. But when someone's on her way to work or actually at work, you legitimately do feel like you are interrupting her life, right? I think that's part of it. Another part of it, and this is a big part of it, because it has to do with state and momentum and that, is that you don't see as many girls as quickly that are hot in day game as you would in night game. If you're in a nightclub and you talk to a hot girl and it doesn't go well, or it does go well, you turn around, there's another hot girl right here. If you're walking around doing day game, especially if you go out specifically to do day game, you get into these ridiculous lulls where it's like, 15 minutes you're walking around like scoping like a creepy motherfucker, be like, let me find a hot girl, and you're just not finding one, right? And so as you walk around and don't find the hot girl, you start to like get in your head and you start to think too much and you start to get out of momentum. So that's another thing that makes it a little bit more difficult, I think. So that's number two. And then the other thing is that day game, you'll get, in my experience, especially since it's a lot of moving girls, it's a lot of girls walking that you'll see, you'll get a lot more very either quick sets or quick rejections, whereas in the club you'll get like sort of tolerated a bit more and then like the walk away. So you have a little bit more of a window of opportunity. The flip side of that is if you do get a good set in the daytime, it's much easier to take it somewhere because you don't have girls dragging the friends away, or the girl's friends dragging her away. You don't have crazy loud dance floors. You don't have music you can't talk over, etc. So, and you don't have them being too drunk to understand you, various things like that. So it's pros and cons.
Game. You're going about your life and you happen to see someone you want to talk to. Now, in this situation, it doesn't make sense to build momentum. It doesn't make sense to like go get in state before doing the approach. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what behavior could you possibly take to convince yourself you're lower value than to say, I need to go get in state before I can speak to this other human being? That's absolutely fucking ridiculous. So ridiculous, right? That's the most low value thing you could possibly be doing.
The more times you do it, the easier it'll get. Sorry to tell you, right? Sorry to tell you that as much as I can tell you some things to put you in state, as much as I can tell you some things to make you happy, the best thing to do is actually just deal with the fact that it's unpleasant and get over it. All right, do you guys ever remember, it may have been different for you, do you remember the first time you went off like the high dive, like at the swimming pool? Or did you guys like walk up there, walk out to the edge and just stand and wait and get terrified? And then like, I actually the first time, this is embarrassing as fuck, the first time I did, I actually like went back and climbed back down, all right? That's embarrassing. I mean, if I had gone like with my friends, I don't think I would have had like the guts to go back down, but I was with my parents, so it didn't matter, right? I had the excuse. But then once you go one time, then you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. Let me go again, let me go again, let me go again. It's just getting over that first hurdle. And it's just sort of on a logical level, you know nothing's gonna happen. So the idea, and this is something that was old school game from like 2001, you're allowed to be as nervous as you wanna be. You're totally allowed to. In fact, if you are nervous, instead of being like, oh my God, I'm nervous, this is bad, I shouldn't be nervous, I'm judging myself, don't judge the fact that you're nervous, just accept it. Be like, huh, that's interesting, I'm nervous. Huh, let's see how this goes when I'm nervous. Okay, it doesn't take a whole lot to be good enough in the daytime. It really doesn't. All you have to be is a man there saying something and not being an idiot. That's pretty much enough, okay? And trust that it is. And yes, it won't be the best set you've ever run because you're not in the height of momentum. You don't feel like you're the king on top of the world. Who cares? It's good enough. And just do it. Get the practice doing it. I mean, I've done this. I started at 18, I'm now 30, and I started doing day game. I started going with no momentum, and now it's just natural. It's just a habit for me. It's not an issue. I don't even think about it. I just go, right? That's where you want to get to. And how are you going to get there? Not by worrying and wondering and thinking, how do I get in state to go? By just doing it because it's the right thing to do. That's it, okay? That's life. Life is a set of decisions between the easy thing and the right thing. Every time you do the easy thing, you are a fucking chode, you are a loser, and you are putting your life worse than it was before. Every time that you do the hard right thing, that is when you are setting yourself apart. That's when you're getting set up for success, mastery, taking over the world. All right, that's where you want to be. That's it. That's life.
It's not always easy. Be glad that it's not easy. If it was easy, every single person would have the success you want and it would be meaningless, all right? The fact that it is hard is why it's worthwhile. The fact that it is hard is why you have an opportunity to set yourself apart. So every single time life is hard for you, every single time, be grateful. Like seriously, get down on your knees and thank whatever deity you pray to, or thank frickin' Darwin that life is what it is and life is difficult, okay? The fact that life is difficult is why we have a brain. Do you realize that? Do you realize that the human brain was designed not to compete with the real world, not to compete with the natural world? We overcame that long ago. The human brain was designed to compete with other human beings. That's why we're as smart as we are. Without that, we would not have art, we would not have skyscrapers, we would not have air travel, we would not have any of the luxuries or comforts or beautiful things that you enjoy so much in your life. Why do we have that? Because life was hard for our ancestors and it forced them to adapt, it forced them to grow, all right? Be glad that life is hard. Enjoy that fact, all right? So, back to day game. Just step it up. Just do it, all right? Derive your value from the fact that you just did it in spite of the fact that it was hard. It should thrill you. It should exhilarate you. That should be the biggest thrill that you have in life. That should be what makes you happiest, is when it was hard. Excuse me, when it was hard and you did it anyway. So do it. It's the thing with day game. Just do it. Like I told you, when I don't approach a girl, I feel like a little piece of my soul dies, right? The other thing I feel like if I don't approach a girl, I feel like my penis just got smaller. Sorry. I guess the two are together. My penis and my soul are directly correlated. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's just the action of taking proper action is what puts me in state, right? The fact that I did the right thing in spite of knowing it was bad puts me that little bit more in state. And the other thing that I will do, once I'm in the set, is I will burn it to the ground. Because burning it to the ground puts you in state as well, okay? If you go in and you make a half-assed lame attempt and get blown out, that's really not gonna help your state. That's just gonna get like some little bit of negative emotion, and then you will have like, instead of hiding from doing the approach, you hide from pushing through it. And you still, the last thing you did was hide. The last thing you did was take it easy on yourself, let yourself down. And that's not gonna put you in state. But if you go in and you get like the rejection, and you're like, no, fuck this, you did not reject me, bitch, right? Sorry, yes, typical North American greeting, weirdo, English, do you speak it, right? If you just like, you pushed it, which is fucking rude, by the way, it's rude. I acknowledge that that's rude as shit. But the fact of the matter is, by doing it that way, sometimes they turn around, and also you're gonna get a real rejection. You're not gonna get a situation where you rejected yourself, okay? That's the big issue that I think puts guys out of state more than anything else, that puts them in that downward spiral, is the idea of rejecting themselves. Right? If you see a hot girl and you don't talk to her, what did you do? You just judged yourself. You just looked at yourself and said, I am unworthy of this girl. And that's why I didn't approach. That has to fuck with your self-esteem. How can it not? How can that not fuck with you? Right? But if you go say, you know what, I think I'm worthy and I did it. And I did it with full confidence and full assurance that I was worthy, and I got blown out, there was nothing else I could have done at that moment. Now, maybe it's not the best set I've ever ran, but at that moment, that was the best I could have possibly done. And I'm okay with that, right? That puts you in state. And also, the other thing to realize is adrenaline is adrenaline. If it's negative adrenaline or positive adrenaline, it's still adrenaline, right? So getting a good reaction pumps you full of adrenaline, gets you happy, puts you in state. Getting a negative reaction pumps you full of adrenaline. If you reframe it as funny, guess what? You just got adrenaline and happiness. Now you're in state, right? So you can actually use that to turn it around and to turn it on. Here's what I did. I would take something that I'm already doing every day, and I would incorporate game into it, okay? For example, I would go to the gym, and the gym was kind of far away from me, the gym I was particularly going to at the time. So I made it a rule that on my way to and from the gym, I had to talk to 3 girls and show intent. I had to actually try and make it go somewhere with 3 girls before I was allowed to walk back into my house, right? Now that's easy for me because I have a loose schedule. So I have that flexibility that after the gym, I can walk around for 15, 20 minutes if I have to in order to find those girls. But the fact of the matter is I'm at least in that mindset. I'm at least in that mindset. Here's what I did when I lived in New York City. You guys are thinking it's fucking crazy, but 2006, I lived in New York City for 7 months. At the time when I left New York City, I was dating 9 women. They were all hot. It was great. Except for the fact that I was running out of money really fast. It was the best time of my life. But what I would do every single time I rode the subway, this was just my subway routine, just my subway habit. I would get on the first car,
And if there was a hot girl in the car, I would go talk to her. If there wasn't a hot girl in the car, at the next station, I would hop off. I would go one car further up. If there was a hot girl, I would talk to her. If not, next station, hot girl, let's do it, right? And fact of the matter is, almost every time I left my house and came back, I would come back with at least one new phone number, right? At least one, oftentimes many, right? Because, and did that interfere with my life? No, not really. I mean, technically, I guess I could have been studying or listening to an audiobook or in some other way improving my life on the subway. But fact of the matter is, I had this particular downtime. I had this particular time that it was going to be spent anyway. So why not turn that into productive girl time? Okay. The other thing I recommend in terms of that is be early. Be early places. As I was walking into Pennsylvania Hotel downstairs, I saw 2 hot girls outside who I did not approach. Why? Because I had to get to this meeting and because I wasn't super early. I was actually early enough I probably could have done it, it turns out. Right? But I didn't know who would be here. I didn't know if it would be set up yet. I didn't know if I'd have to deal with the hotel staff. I didn't know what I'd have to do. I didn't have time to do it because this event was more important to me than some random chick on the street. But had I been 15 minutes earlier and I'd met a random girl on the street, I would have done the approach, right? So the fact that I didn't leave a little early, the fact that I didn't just mentally plan it into my schedule, it hurt me. It held me back, right? So that's another thing you can do. If you do that, I actually recommend having something for if you do end up getting there early, something to do or something productive on you, like a book or an audiobook or something like that, just so you don't end up wasting time on the back end. But most people actually will be more productive if they're getting to things early anyway. So it's really not going to hurt you. But try and actually just overtly schedule it into your life that you have a period of time where you can be looking for girls. Now, you don't have to be stupid about it, right? If I'm doing that subway car to car to car thing and I just happen to have a subway ride where I don't see a hot girl, am I pissed off about that? No, I did the right thing. I took the right action, and it just so happened by random variance there wasn't a hot girl on that particular subway ride. C'est la vie, it happens. I don't get all pissed at myself. No, you didn't do a fucking approach. You suck at life. Kick yourself, right? It's not like that. But I took the right action in structure. I structured my life to take the right action. And by doing that, it just makes the little behaviors within it just that much easier. But really, all you have to do is not mess up, okay? Go in, make sure your volume is decent, make sure you get attention, make sure you're not qualifying yourself, and make sure you keep talking no matter what, and figure it out from there, okay? It's a very interesting phenomenon that'll happen. It's like, let's say that you were not ready for a fight. You didn't, wake up in the morning, you're not a trained fighter, you didn't go get boxing gloves together and warm up and stretch, but then somebody punches you in the face. Well, guess what? At that moment, you're in a fight, and your body's gonna respond, your brain is gonna respond, and you're gonna act like you're in a fight, and you're gonna fight. Same thing, right? If you just do the damn approach, you just get in there with something, from that next moment, you're gonna game, because you have no choice. So just force yourself, walk over, tap, tap, say hi, and figure it out from there. I promise you, your evolution, your biology will kick in, and if it doesn't, so what? So what? You'll get a failure, you'll get another learning experience, and you will be better next time for one of the other 3.5 billion girls on the planet. You're not gonna run out, just do it, because it's the right thing to do. Don't worry if you fuck up, have fun with it, enjoy the process, enjoy the fuck up, enjoy it. It's a story to tell, okay? So that's gaming, out of state, and day game, all right? Give yourself permission, give yourself permission. You are not interrupting anybody, and guess what? Even if you are, who cares? It's a random stranger, it doesn't matter, you're never gonna see them again. And you are not in imposition because you are offering value. You are offering value, okay? Realize that as well. If you're walking over to someone with a $10,000 check in your back pocket with their name on it, would you feel hesitant in giving them that check? Absolutely not. You'd feel like you're giving them a blessing. When you go talk to them, you are worth more than that $10,000 check, so you should feel the exact same way. You really, legitimately, truly are offering value, so treat it as such. So that's what you're doing. You're doing the right thing, you're offering them value, you're bringing positivity to their world, and if they don't like it, fuck them. They're idiots, they're stupid, they're not worth your time. Okay? That's it. That's day game. Peace.